Good evening, folks. This is Shane with Disc Golf and Faith. Let's open up with a little bit of prayer. Dear Lord, we'd just like to thank you for this evening and this time that you've given us to share together on this particular podcast and introducing a sport that I personally love, disc golf. And we just ask that you keep us all with an open mind and allow us to enjoy the company and information that was put out today. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, folks. Well, let's talk about a few things. And one of the things that I'd like to talk about is a little bit about what I do. And I am a service member and gladly, proudly have served for many years. Um, but I really want to be able to take the opportunity to connect with people. And what I'm looking to connect to people about is to not only introduce them in keeping your faith or developing your faith or growing your faith, but is also being able to do the things that you personally love and enjoy while keeping that faith. So disc golf is a really big growing sport, and I'm a big fan of it. And I've been playing roughly about 15 months now, and so I'm really a beginner. I might be a little bit more advanced than most beginners that are starting out, but I'm still a beginner, so I'm still learning a lot. There'll be more content to follow, and that content is going to be me playing some courses. You're going to see me in my game that needs much improvement. But I do see some areas where I've made some good strides. Feedback is always greatly appreciated, and I'll be looking forward to comments and views out there that will be able to help me improve my personal growth in the game itself. But a couple of little cool facts. So I'm currently living in Evans, Georgia, and I live roughly at the current moment about 10 miles from the PDGA headquarters, so the Professional Disc Golf Association. And a little couple cool facts about the PDGA. They started in 1976, and that was really close to the time when I was born, so I'm kind of up there in my mid 40s. And it took them nearly 41 years to get 100,000 people, get 100,000 people that will become members of the PDGA. But get this, in the last 4 years, they've more than doubled that. So there's well over 200,000 new PDGA members, or PDGA total of 200,000 PDGA members and still counting. In 2021, PDGA had over 43,000 new members. That is insane, folks. This sport is growing beyond any reasonable person's wildest dreams. But what I have found, and I've introduced this to quite a few folks in my individual circles as well, and what I do for a living. But um, as I'm introducing it, people kind of tend to blow it off. So how do we get some more exposure to it out there? Well, one of it is the more we know, the better we are prepared to understand how the sport is growing. So I like to share an analogy. If you knew that when Microsoft first started and Bill Gates was in the garage and he was developing Microsoft and all of that stuff that comes with what he built there, you would probably think that it's not worth anything. But if you knew then what you knew today about Microsoft, you would have invested completely into it. So why am I mentioning this? Because it may be beneficial for you to invest a little bit of time into playing maybe a new sport that you can grow to love. So why do I like disc golf so much? Disc golf is a sport that I, as I'm getting older, can grow old with. So when I'm unable to play basketball, run up and down the court, or play softball, which I really enjoy playing, or even doing other really strenuous activities like volleyball with my church or small groups, those things take a toll on the body. Disc golf is not as taxing on the body as some of those other sports. Also, let's put it in comparison to golf. When you think about it, how much does it cost to even play golf? And how much does it cost to play disc golf? Well, I'm going to have more content to come that will talk about that. But what I want to share with you today is some more fun facts. So I want to talk a little bit how this game is growing. So I'm using some UDisc reports. And UDisc is an app that's free to use, and you can pay an annual membership, and it's roughly about 15 bucks a year. Um, but you can actually find courses using this app. You can keep track of your stats. You can go out and throw and measure your throws. You can practice your putting and your accuracy. You can get better using the app. I actually use the app quite frequently. And as you would see in some of my videos, and probably more videos to come, where I will actually post my UDisc results. However, what I'd like to share with this is that the UDisc app it's your one-touch source to get you to any and every disc golf course that you want to get to play on. And as I talk and compare golf and disc golf in a later video, we'll talk a little bit more of the specifics between the two. But what I want to say primarily is that it's pretty much free to play disc golf. Other than your time and maybe buy a few discs, um, you might get gifted a few discs. Maybe you find a few discs out in the park, which is a whole other thing that we can talk about at a later time. But what I'd like to share with you is that disc golf has grown significantly. So right now, according to UDisc, disc golf is now put out. So in the disc golf community, UDisc is tracking that there are more than 5 courses built per day in the entire world. That is insane, folks. That's a lot of disc golf courses. So essentially, since 2020, that's nearly a 50% increase. That's huge. I mean, disc golf is growing, folks, I'm telling you. So now we talk about another thing is, well, how many disc golf courses are really out there? There is over 13,000 disc golf courses in the entire world. So when we talk about 13,000, and the actual number that UDisc is tracking is about 13,323 courses. That is quite a bit courses. 71% of all those courses were built in the last 10 years. The last decade, folks, that's how much the thing has grown. 71% of over 13,000 of the courses built in the last 10 years. Come on now, we're missing out on this train. And talk about Microsoft whenever, if we would have known when Microsoft was going to be good, or cryptocurrency was going to be good, or Dell Computers was going to be good, or Walmart first started out, you would have invested in all of these things. Now I'm not asking you to invest money, so I'm just saying, hey, get with the times. Let's play a little bit of disc golf together. So regular golf, you got to pay green fees, cart fees, everything you got to go out there and pay. It's just ridiculous amounts of money. And if you're not deep in your pockets, you're just not going to be able to play regular golf. And I love to play golf, but I can only do it few and far in between because it's kind of expensive to play. Did you not know that 90% of all courses in the world are free to play? They're mostly in your public parks, and you just go to your local park. In my previous hometown, which was Topeka, Kansas, we have 4 or 5 parks that was within a 5 to 15-minute drive from my house. So I always had the ability to play complete full 18-hole courses with the short drive, no different than me going to play soccer at a local field or basketball at a local gym or whatever the case may be. So 90% is free to play. That's pretty awesome. 55% of courses are actually in public parks. So that's pretty astonishing. Public parks hold 55% of the courses. Now, according to UDisc, about 385 golf courses actually have disc golf courses with them. Over 78 breweries and wineries have disc golf courses with them. There are over 1,254 schools and universities that have disc golf courses, and there is over 295 ski areas that have disc golf courses. And if you guys didn't know this or not, there are 79 different countries that have disc golf courses. This sport is growing like crazy, folks. It's all over there. So now when we talked about all of those other disc golf courses, and when we had the whole scope of over the 13,000 disc golf courses, 9,000 of those courses are in the U.S. And then the other 4,300 are spread across the world. But the top 3 countries outside of the U.S. that really get involved with disc golf, according to UDisc, is Norway, Canada, and Sweden. So they're really big on disc golf. So with UDisc, up to date, at least as far as we're tracking, There's over 17 million rounds of disc golf scored on UDisc. I scored rounds on UDisc all the time, and not scores that I would like to have, but they are my scores nonetheless. Um, but these scores that have come up have actually increased nearly 50% since 2020. So its popularity is soaring through the roof. So of those 17 million rounds scored, over 11.5 million of them are in the US and the rest of them are in the world or internationally. I think it's close to about 5.3 million. That is a ton of disc golf being played, folks. And we're talking about the rounds scored over time, and that that 17 million was in 2021. It was 11 million in 2020. It was almost 4 million in 2019. It was 2.5 million in 2018. I mean, it's just booming. And so we talk about players being introduced to disc golf. That can be challenging because in our friend circles, we try to surround ourselves with disc golf players, but not all of our friends play disc golf. So how do we get them to like and love disc golf? Well, it's just a matter of what they know about it. The game is still foreign to a lot of folks out there, but it is getting more exposure and people are getting more smart on disc golf, if you will. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. Did you not know that according to UDisc, that more than 97% of all players that start playing disc golf and then use the disc golf app, they're still excited about it, and their wording is stoked. So they're excited about it, folks. And also, did you know that 59% of disc golfers play at least once a month? So, and they have categories of casual disc golfers, regular disc golfers, dedicated disc golfers, and hardcore disc golfers. As far as playing, I would probably be in that regular disc golfer category. Plays probably 20 rounds a year or something of that effect. I probably play a little more than 20 rounds. So I'm in between that regular disc golfer and dedicated disc golfer. But as my time frees up a little bit more in my career and what I'm doing on my day to day, I will definitely be able to get some more rounds in. But from what I understand, there's actually someone out there that gets in well over 1,000 rounds a year. That's multiple rounds a day for every day out of the year. That's pretty impressive. Um, but with that said, you disc golf is growing all over the place. I mean, it's just insane of how much it's growing. Um, and then the monies that are being made out there, I'm telling you folks, if you can get good at this game and spend some time to get better, there is money to be made in these tournaments. I think the average professional player makes a little over $100,000 a year. If you're a really top end name, you got your Ricky Wysocki's and your Paul Macbeths and Calvin Heimbergs, those folks are making a whole lot more than $100,000 a year. I've heard specifics go into the realms of $4 to $10 million, depending on the type of contracts and what their sponsors are willing to go out. But that's a lot of cash to be had in it. So much respect to you folks out there that are making the big bucks. Definitely more than what I make in my day job in the military. But it is what it is. If you want to make the money, you got to get good at the game, and you can't get at the game if you don't play it. So with that said, there's a lot of opportunity out there to pick up new hobbies and new things to do in your life. Disc golf is one for me. It's a way I can get out into the nature, enjoy it, enjoy my time playing in these courses where I can keep my mind focused on something, and I'm usually just playing against me. So I'm not playing against the world or other players. I play with my friends. Disc golf is actually really fun when you're playing with friends because even when you're having a bad game, it just takes one great shot and everybody is on your side. And even if you're competing and they're like excited with you when you make a great shot. So that's just really motivating to know that even though you're competing with folks out there from time to time, they're right there with you and they want to see you succeed just as much as they want to succeed. So anyway, hopefully this gives you some good information. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to talk about out there. But I do have some other content coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about the difference of disc golf versus golf. We're going to talk a little bit about beginners coming into golf, disc golf, and where to kind of get started, and so that way they're not overwhelmed. Because if you're starting a really big pro course for your first time playing golf, then it increases the probability that you may not want to play anymore. So we'll talk about that a little bit and get you going. Also, I'll have some content introducing some starter kits, showing you some of my throws, which I don't throw well, but I'm going to be learning, and we're going to be learning together. Other than that, I'm going to sign off for now. You all have a great time, and thank you for watching, and comment down below if there's anything that you want me to talk about, and also smash the like button and subscribe. You see some new stuff that I'll put out, and just like everyone else, hopefully I help you enjoy some of your time that you have here watching my content that I'm able to put out for you. Other than that, you guys have a good one, and peace out.